Welcome back to that Heartbreak Hogs podcast. Sid, it's time to do our weekly predictions. But first, if you are new here, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel. We are Hog fans, and what we do here is we talk about Razorback football, basketball, and everything else week to week. Well, not everything, but most of it. The big matchups week to week. And we do a spicy foods challenge where it's either serrano peppers or hot wings from different locations, but one of us has to eat the spice. And we're, unfortunately for me, I've got to pay my dues here. And I've got to eat this blazing sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm then going to dip some chicken into it. On one of the weeks prior to this, they gave me a wing with some sauce. I have some sauce left over. Lucky me, I get to use that sauce for losing last week's competition. Hopefully, this week goes better. I did a little bit more research prior to this episode.
What's that? 3 weeks in a row?
Something like that.
3 weeks in a row.
A lot of coaches and players ruined some of my picks. So,
Hey,
as Josh
blame the
Pate would
picks.
say. So, I may have to dip this twice because I'm going to be
Are you
a
gonna
man of my
go? You
word.
should go. Were we even close? I don't think so, right? Because we had a
I think it
tiebreaker
was two
down.
to three.
Oh, was it? I thought you had
Yeah,
won one.
I think it was two. Let's see. Let me pull it up. I had Navy plus 13 and a half. You won that. Illinois plus 21 and a half. You won that. Missouri, you won that. I had Vandy and Michigan.
Mm, that's right.
So
Yeah.
Vandy and Michigan both beat their spreads. So yeah, you won 3-2. All right. Well, I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna make sure that everybody can see. I'm gonna do the first half, and then I'm gonna dip the second half in. Finish that off. No milk here. We got water. All right. It's actually a delicious wing,
He's
but
getting
man,
used to these spicy wings, I think, and spicy food after just continued losing over and over and over. So I don't know if I'm ready, Nick, if I ever lose again.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, big guy, you started off.
All righty. All right. So this week you picked out all the games that we're going to talk about. I believe
Mm-hmm.
my phone just died, so you're going to have to
Ohio
let me
State.
know. But Ohio State, Penn State is the first one at 11 a.m. kickoff. We got Ohio State playing at Penn State, and Ohio State is a 3.5 point favorite. Um, this is interesting. I think Ohio State has won some very close games and kind of come out on top, especially the past few weeks. I know one of them being Oregon, where I knew that the Oregon would win that one, but surprising what was last week, almost losing to Nebraska. So in that for that reason, I just believe playing at Penn State. I believe um, in more in that team and them covering the spread. And I think it's also disrespectful a little bit, possibly because to be a 3.5 point underdog and being ranked slightly better.
Oh yeah, wow. I didn't really notice that at first. Man. um,
This is worse than Serrano pepper, just for the people that are out there on the Scoville level.
ooh. Um, I'm gonna take Ohio State as well. Um, Franklin just has Coach Franklin at Penn State. Just he can't beat him. So until he does, I'm gonna take Ohio State. Um, I think they probably win by 7 or more.
Okay.
And the only reason that I think that this will somewhat be close, if at all, is it's at Penn State. But um, I just don't think Penn State can close it. But if they do, that will make the playoff race very interesting with Ohio State with 2 losses and still having to play Indiana.
That's true. I think Penn State has how many losses?
0. That's why they're number
Exactly.
3.
Yeah.
But I think they're overrated. I think Ohio State wins, but we shall see.
We shall see. All
So we're
right.
the same on this.
Well, you had Ohio State winning this, right?
Oh, did you take Penn State?
I took Penn State.
Oh.
Yeah, covering the spread.
Sorry, I was distracted while you were.
I took Penn State.
Yeah, I know. I was distracted by the spice while
Yep.
you were doing your picks. Okay. You're taking PSU?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's because of that half point, isn't it?
It's that half point, but also I think it's that ranking. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't believe in them. After almost losing to Nebraska too.
They only were close with Nebraska because of this game. They weren't showing their cards.
That could be very true. But then, yeah, that could be very true.
Yeah. Nebraska was never a threat.
We shall see. Oregon was a threat, and they didn't win that one.
Should we save the Arkansas one for last?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Can do the same as last week and kind of bring that Arkansas Ole Miss game last.
Okay. Oregon and Michigan.
Is that next?
Or actually,
Yeah.
sorry, let's go in order here. Oh yeah, let's do Minnesota and Illinois. And then Oregon at Michigan.
You love the Illinois games, huh?
It's a 3-point spread.
That's true. Illinois, these past few weeks when we've discussed Illinois, and I think we've talked about them the last 2 weeks at least, I've gone against them. Pretty sure I've gone against them every single time. So, Illinois is coming off of a beat against Oregon. Let's see, how has Minnesota been doing? Minnesota, I wasn't ready for this one, but let's see. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take Illinois to cover the spread in this one. I'm surprised Minnesota is a 3-point favorite, even though it's at Illinois. I guess Minnesota is able to put up a lot of points. They beat USC, I see, but I'll take Illinois on this one. Just after past few weeks going against them, I feel like it's their turn.
Yeah, I like Illinois as well. Minnesota had a nice, they had a nice showing against Michigan, but fell short. They beat USC, which was interesting. They won at UCLA. They beat Maryland. I think
Not a
Illinois
bad
needs.
team, yeah.
No, they're not. But I think Illinois, excuse me, is just above them. And
Slightly, yeah.
yeah, we talk about in one of our videos of the prediction for the Ole Miss game with Arkansas is the the bottom half and top half of the conference. And I believe that Minnesota is like right kind of in the middle-ish, upper middle-ish, and Illinois is just one spot above them. And being at home, I think Illinois is going to win this thing. And I don't know. I'm not that surprised that Minnesota is favored because they are good. They have fought in some games, but I just think that Illinois is going to be the better team. They're coming back home after getting a whooping. I think that they're focused and preparing to make a comeback and win on Saturday. So, with that being said, the next game, and you did take Illinois too, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. Let's go to Oregon at Michigan. Oregon is a 14.5 point favorite. What say you, Sid?
14.5 point favorite. That's tough. They're playing at Michigan, at Ann Arbor at 2:30. I mean, Oregon has looked solid all season long. They've won games where we both have thought it would be a lot closer, or
Yep.
that they would not have won. Um, and they're able to take care of business, seems like, week after week. Michigan, on the other hand, has not looked great this season. I know last week they beat Michigan State, but that's just that rivalry game where it always comes down to the wire. But I
Mm-hmm.
just think Michigan has been kind of underproven this year, and
Underwhelming. Or-
underwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after the year that they had last year. 14.5 is tough to take though, so I'm gonna still say that Michigan covers the spread.
Man, I was thinking about that too.
I mean, I would, if I were you, I'd take Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, I
This
I
is
think
a toss
I'm
up.
going to just
Yeah.
so we have different predictions.
Like I would feel comfortable in taking Oregon, but I'm uncomfortable in taking Michigan,
So
but I'm still taking
yeah,
Michigan.
so I'm leaning Oregon on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan keeps this close because the identity of Michigan is a defensive team. They're not an offensive team. Their defensive, their strong coaching is in their defense. It's just they lost a lot from last year, and so that identity has been tarnished a little bit. I think that there's a possibility that they put together a great game plan and catch Oregon possibly sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But
again, Oregon has week after week taken care
if
of
Oregon
business.
comes ready to play, not sleeping, coming to play in this game, they should absolutely torch Michigan's secondary like Texas did.
Yeah.
So because you took Michigan and I was really considering taking that too, I'll flip the other way
I
on
would
the coin.
switch you if you want.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna take.
Alrighty. I was like, I would take Oregon. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't make sense that I'm
just
taking
because
Michigan.
I lean it. But if you had started
Yeah.
by saying Oregon, I probably would have taken Michigan.
Yeah.
But since you didn't, I'm gonna take Oregon. And now that I just explained why I think Oregon is leaning, I'm leaning that way. I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay.
because I just convinced myself to stick with it. um,
That is fair. I
the
will still
next,
stick with Michigan.
yeah. So I'm gonna write that down real quick. Uh, you've
What is
got
the next game?
Florida at Georgia.
Georgia, 16.5 point favorites against Florida, and it's at Georgia. I'm surprised it's only 16.5, honestly. Um, the Gators this year, I think, also haven't been like that great. I know they're coming off a bye week. That helps them out.
Yeah,
Um, they kind of dominated Kentucky.
yeah, they
Um,
did. They looked really good against Kentucky.
but I think this Georgia team, this Georgia team also is coming off of a bye, and so you got both teams coming off a bye. With Georgia hadn't faced Texas, and everyone thought that would be the game, um, but it really wasn't close.
Yeah.
I know Georgia's got Ole Miss next week to worry about. Is talking a lot. Um, I think I'm gonna just stick with Georgia covering. Um, Florida, I'm sure can put up points in SEC play, but yeah, I'll take Georgia.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Florida points, and I may really regret this, but I think that this is somewhat of a rivalry. Georgia and Florida. I'm pretty sure they're bordering states, um, and yeah, they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You had to look that
I'm
up.
double checking. Yeah, I'm just double checking here. Um,
Where
yeah, they
is?
are. They are bordering states. I was right.
That's how
Geography, man. This is a rivalry, so I'm gonna. And in rivalries, I like to take the underdog points if it's in the double digits. This is close to 3 scores. It's not quite 3 scores, so I'm going to be really upset if Georgia wins by 17. But it's 16 and a half. I'm going to take Florida. I think Florida's been playing better ball. They were the laughing stock of the SEC at the beginning of the season, but they've really turned things around. And I'm really curious to see what they do in this game because they've got Texas
they've got Texas,
after this.
LSU. Um,
Yes.
they've got
Ole
tough schedule
Miss,
ahead too. Yep.
and then they finished with Florida State. And yeah, I'm just really curious what they do. And I think they have a lot of potential. I could see Georgia sleeping a little bit on here. And Georgia's been so inconsistent, man. Like I need to see more consistency before I take
Yeah.
them in a
No, for
double
sure.
digit favorite. So
I
I'm
can
gonna take
see
Florida's in this one.
I can see Georgia for sure, even overlooking Florida as well.
Hmm.
Um, I know they're coming off a bye, but still, I don't know. I'm gonna keep with the Georgia. If you want to write it down,
Yeah.
I'll stick with the Georgia, Florida, and stick with Georgia covering.
All right. So this one might be interesting. We may kind of have the same thing here, but Indiana at Michigan State is a 7.5 point spread. What are you thinking on this one, Sid?
Um, Indiana. I mean, 7.5 point. That it's that half point. That always gets me.
Yeah.
But I think even if it's at Michigan State, I think Indiana just has looked like a better team this season. I mean,
Hmm.
they've beaten Washington. They and they are able to put up a lot of points, which I don't think Michigan State is as capable of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and take Indiana to cover.
Yeah, what a season Indiana has had, man. I'm excited to watch more of their games and just to see what they do. This is a big one, man. Because this is kind of that mid tier Big Ten school. Go to their house, beat them. Then you play Michigan. Then you play at Ohio State. You play Purdue. 11-1, 12-0, maybe. That's in the cards here, man. So I'm gonna take Indiana as well. Just I I think that they could win this thing by double digits,
Hmm.
and I would lean that way over, just over single digits. I think that Indiana's got a good shot of, um, beating them
Making the
pretty
playoffs too.
convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a really good team, and I'm like I said, I'm excited to see where they take this season. And on the road here towards the end of the season, the environments get tougher. Um, it's gonna be really interesting what they do. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'll take Indiana as well with you. You did take Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is really interesting. I'm excited to kind of hear what your take is on this, but Texas A&M at South Carolina. Texas A&M is a 2.5 point favorite.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it's only 2.5.
Yep.
Um, I
That's
like
why
why
I wanted to see what you would say.
2.5 point favorites, and Texas A&M, I mean, really has dominated this season. I guess I see that South Carolina's coming off a bye, and they
Mhm.
beat Oklahoma, and almost beat Bama. Um, but A&M just has looked really good this season,
Mhm.
and almost dominating. Yeah, I'm easily. I want you to go ahead and take South Carolina because I'm gonna go ahead and take A&M covering this 2.5.
Yeah, I mean I'm taking A&M too. I don't know why it's 2.5. Um, they looked really solid against LSU. South Carolina, I they may keep it close. They may make it a game. I'm not saying that A&M will blow these guys out. South Carolina has a very respectable defense. Um, but here's the thing with A&M, man. If one of those quarterbacks isn't working, they can just switch out to the other one and completely change their game
But
design.
and it's a field goal you have to
Yeah.
win by.
Yeah. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I still see it
Yeah.
being like a touchdown, but yeah,
A field goal or more, most likely. Like,
yeah,
probably and more.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I looked at that and I was like, okay, maybe I could
I
get
didn't
Sid
even
to
see
take
that, and
South
yeah, that's
Carolina.
yeah. That was
Maybe I
funny.
can catch Sid sleeping here and take South Carolina.
I see that wing doesn't affect you.
Oh, man. I'm good now, man. I am getting used to these things. Um, my spice
Yeah,
tolerance is going up.
maybe it's that no milk.
Yeah. Oh man. Actually, dude, the not drinking water too. I held off all the water for a little bit. That helped.
Hmm.
The water made it worse.
I still haven't done any of the wings ones, so
Yeah.
maybe next week.
I'll have to ship you this sauce. um so we're gonna go over two more here. Um Kentucky at Tennessee is the first one. Tennessee
Interesting
is
one.
16.5 point favorite. Sid, what do you think?
It's a lot of points. 16 and a half.
Hmm.
Um, Kentucky has been kind of disappointing
Yeah.
in terms of how their season's gone.
Hmm.
Um,
And they may have had a fluke, that Ole Miss game.
mhm,
We kind of talked about, was Arkansas Tennessee a fluke?
true.
Kind of based off of what Arkansas does the next, three big games they have. They get to kind of show the world, hey, was that a fluke or is Arkansas legit? Kentucky here, they've got some games. They go to Texas, here at Tennessee. They've got an opportunity to show that Ole Miss wasn't a fluke. Sid, was Ole Miss a fluke?
Uh, it's tough. I think for Kentucky, Ole Miss was a fluke. As much as I hate to say it, Tennessee coming off a bye as well. Um, they really like. It's not like they're playing Mississippi State next week. It's not like they're gonna. It's a the Kentucky's gonna be a team that they'll just overlook for the season for the week ahead.
Yeah.
Um, Kentucky, next game we pick, it's not gonna be the same. Between our when we picked Arkansas Ole Miss, I'll have different opinions on that. But this one I think is a fluke, and I know it's a lot of points again, but I'll go ahead and take Tennessee to cover. Man, 16 and a half. Who is making these spreads where they're making A&M only two
I
and a
know.
half point favorites and it's at 16 and a half? I want to talk to them.
Oh my god. And
Yeah,
you had taken South Carolina, right?
I did not take South Carolina. Get out of here. But I'm guessing you're gonna pick Kentucky.
uh, yeah, I am.
Alrighty.
Um, it's a rivalry game. Kentucky fans and Tennessee fans absolutely hate one another,
Mm-hmm. But
and yeah, in those scenarios,
yeah.
if they've got a big point spread just because one is doing really well and one is not, I don't think that Kentucky will probably win this game. I don't think that's the
That's
case,
true.
but I do think that they're going to make this a ball game and they're going to at least make it respectable. I would be surprised if they lay flat on their face on this, um, just because of it's like Auburn and Georgia. It's like Auburn is trash. You would think that Georgia would just
Yeah, I'm thinking
blow them
about
out.
changing my pick now.
No, no, no. You already put in your pick,
Not
buddy. Yeah.
not because of the reasons that you just stated, but because really every single game that Tennessee's played this year has been in within reach. Besides, obviously Kent State, where it was 71-0.
Uh-huh.
That one
Yeah.
wasn't in reach. Or
Yeah.
NC State, which was 51-10. But like outside of like those games, I mean Oklahoma, Arkansas,
Well,
Florida,
it sucks
Bama.
that your turn is over. And that
It's a last minute change that I'm picking to Kentucky.
you're gonna take Tucky too.
Because I think how many differences we got already?
Three. This would be the fourth.
Okay, so let's keep it at 3. So that we don't have a tiebreaker, and that was our.
Well, we've got two
Um,
more games.
I thought we only had Arkansas and Ole
Uh,
Miss left.
Pitt at SMU.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Keep your Tennessee pick. You look a little concerned. Come on now. You've won 3 of these. You keep your pick.
Well, if you've been counting so far, I've been picking only favorites or higher ranked teams.
You took Michigan.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll keep Tennessee.
Good, good, good.
I will keep Tennessee.
Yeah, now it's going to come back to bite me. Tennessee's going to win by 50. It's just going to be like, man, I should have let him take Kentucky.
They're playing in Knoxville. We'll
I
see.
mean, we'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's going to be surprised if Tennessee waxes them,
Yeah.
wipes the floor with them. Nobody's going to be surprised. It's just,
Kentucky keeps it close. People will be surprised if Kentucky wins this game now.
yeah, no, that would be insane, and that would honestly make the Arkansas win
Yeah.
less.
That they would show ours was a fluke for sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um,
Hi, Pitt.
all right, Pitt at SMU said 7.5 points. SMU is favored. Who you got?
7.5 points, huh? This is tough. Honestly, I haven't seen how SMU's been doing this year, but I think I see that they went to overtime against Duke last week and kind of kept it close there. 7-1. I'm gonna go ahead and take Pitt. Um, I'll take Pitt to cover in this one. Looks like they're playing in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pitt has just done enough, and I think they've got a couple of extra days because they played Thursday um, last week, so they had a couple extra days of rest as well, and then obviously they dominated against Syracuse, so I'm sure they had players like kind of rest during the game as well. So I think they'll be more healthy and can keep it close.
Okay. Yeah, I actually agree with you in this. It's that point 0.5, the 7.5, because I could see SMU winning this game by 7. Um,
hmm
and
So
it,
if it
it
was
just
at
kind of give.
7, if it was
I
at
would.
6.5, would you take it?
I'd probably take SMU at 6.5. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think SMU is gonna win this game, but Pitt fights, man. I mean, they just torched Syracuse, man.
hmm
And Syracuse ain't all that, but Syracuse was decent. Syracuse only had one loss. I mean, they hadn't really played anybody, but still, any team that's winning, and knows how to win, even against, lower competition, it's still to just dominate them like that. It shows that these guys can definitely play ball. So, I, I don't know. Pitt may even be dangerous enough to upset them. But
Yeah, I mean Pitt's
yeah, I'm
undefeated
taking
and
Pitt, man. Like
Pitt's
you, the
undefeated and they're
plus
both
7.5.
capable of putting up points, so for sure.
Exactly. Well, let's finish this one off with the Arkansas
Well, then in that case, we've got
Ole Miss.
4 so far we've got 4 2-2.
So
Or
if
we could go 2-2.
yeah, if this one we agree on, well, we can scratch the Kentucky one.
Okay.
Okay, go first.
All right, this one
No switching
Arkansas.
your pick. No switching your
The
pick on
game
this.
the game
Just to scratch Kentucky.
the game we've been waiting for.
Yep.
Arkansas Ole Miss. Ole Miss 7.5 favorites. I think it started off at 6.5, and it's changed within the last couple days. But um, I think it's disrespectful, honestly, to put Arkansas at 7 points underdogs for Arkansas. I mean, I understand we it was only Mississippi State. They dominated against an LSU. It wasn't that great, and you had talked about this in the past videos. Um, but Talon Green wasn't fully healthy, I think, for that LSU game. At least if you compare him to that Mississippi State game where he's able to kind of move around so much more fluidly,
Yeah.
um, I think this will be a dogfight, and it could come down to a field goal um, that wins the game, or even overtime. So I'll take Arkansas to cover. I'd be very surprised if you were going to pick Ole Miss.
I'm taking the Hogs to cover. So it looks like we're gonna have to scratch that Kentucky Tennessee game. And scratching that, the games. I'm gonna go over my Arkansas prediction, but first I'm gonna do this as well. Uh, that means that Sid took Penn State plus 3.5. I took Ohio State minus 3.5. Sid took Michigan plus 14.5. I took Oregon minus 14.5. Sid took Georgia minus 16.5. I took Florida plus 16.5. And we'll
And I
just
hope I go 4-0, honestly. And I know you said 3 games, but if Tennessee wins as well, then I'd be 4-0. And that'd be cool too.
it's not going to count. So anyway, um, now we can just watch the Tennessee game. We'll be
That's
free
true.
of any worry free. We can just enjoy it, sit back, watch, see what happens, and just watch a close
The
game. We won't
rivalry
be
game,
upset.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go over real quick why I'm taking Arkansas on this one. I am gonna take Arkansas on this one just because at home Sam Pittman is 2-0 against Lane Kiffin. Um, in Razorback Stadium, they had a pretty convincing victory over Ole Miss. Each time that they've gone to Ole Miss, it has been super close. Either a win in overtime for Ole Miss, or I think it was actually we went for 2 and we lost by 1, trying to avoid going to overtime at Ole Miss. So we lost by 1 in Ole Miss one year because we went for 2 to win the game, didn't get it, and then we lost to Ole Miss last year by a touchdown. And, the last couple times in Fayetteville, we've been pretty dominant. Hudson Clark in 2020, I think it was, had 3 interceptions. So, we've taken care of business in Fayetteville. I hope that trend continues, and I'm going to stick with that trend until it changes. Again, like Sid said, I think that it was kind of disrespectful to put Mississippi as a 7-point favorite after what Arkansas's offense looked like against Mississippi State and them having beaten Tennessee. I think that people are really I think that they're misled by the LSU loss that Arkansas took, that Taylor Green was not fully healthy. And just, I think that Arkansas was just sleeping that game. I think overall the team just was off for whatever reason. I think they were just high off of that big win over the bye week, 2 weeks straight of praise and being told how good they were. I think that they're going to be prepared for this Ole Miss game, and I think they're going to bring it to them. So that's why I'll be taking Arkansas. Anything else you want to add, Sid?
No, just if you want to watch a deeper kind of analysis or deeper thoughts of over this game, Ole Miss Arkansas, just watch that video.
Yep.
And we talk a lot more about it.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, if you made it this far, please like the video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, comment down below your thoughts on some of these games. Let us know, since we scrapped the Kentucky game, let us know what you think of Kentucky and Tennessee. Who you got? Do you think it's going to be closer than people think, or do you think it's going to be a blowout? Kentucky fans, what do you think? Tennessee fans, what do you think? Go and battle it out down there. Would love to see it. I know it is a rivalry. I know both fan bases hate one another, but I'd just like to kind of see like honest thoughts from each fan base. What do you actually expect from that game? So with that being said, please check out some of our other videos if you enjoyed this one. We will be back here for the spicy challenge next week, and hopefully Sid will be taking down a hot wing. It's been too long. At least for me, I'm starting to get used to these suckers. So I guess I got that working for me. I may have to start eating 2
we'll make
wings
them.
too.
We'll make them spicier for him.
I don't know, man.
next
That
week.
one was pretty spicy. I'm not gonna lie though. That was a great tasting hot wing.
Yeah,
Outside
we
of just the spice, it actually tastes
exactly.
good
It
too.
shouldn't be good. It shouldn't be good tasting.
Hey
It should be
man,
a punishment.
I should be
might-
enjoying that, man.
We might do the one chip challenge, or if you guys have any other challenges for him, just put in the comments. We might do those as well. But I'm thinking maybe a chip challenge or something like that too, possibly in the future. If Ross is getting used to these delicious wings.
Hey man, by the time you get to the chip, man, by the time it's your turn and I'm
Yeah, I
already
can't
on
just-
the chip,
I can't just head dive
Oh,
on the
you got to
chip.
head dive into the chip, man. It's supposed to be a punishment, remember?
Yeah. For you.
Uh-huh. So anyway, guys, with that, we're going to head out of here. Thank you so much for watching. We're Hog fans. We're sports fans. We love college football. We love college basketball too. We're doing deep dives on college basketball as well. Please check out the rest of our content and spread the good word. Share with friends, family, and anybody you know that's Hog fans or who's a fan of the team that we talk about in these videos. Till next time. Heartbreak Hogs podcast out.